He didn't lose me. He left me. That's the difference, you know? People always say, I lost my ring, as if we're coins slipping through careless fingers, as if love is something that just falls away. But I was placed, deliberately, on the nightstand, right next to a half-empty glass of water and a phone buzzing with secrets. I watched him hesitate, thumb circling my gold band, the way he used to when he was nervous before a big meeting or a fight with her. Only this time, he wasn't thinking of her. He was thinking of the woman behind the other door. I've been on his finger for 23 years. I remember the first time he slid me on, hands shaking, eyes shining. I remember the vows, how his voice cracked, how she smiled like she'd swallowed the sun. I remember the warmth of their palms pressed together, the way I caught the light in every photograph. I was a promise, a circle with no end. Eternal, they said. But eternity is a long time to watch someone change. I've seen it all. The late nights, the arguments muffled behind closed doors, the way he started leaving me on the bathroom counter more and more often. I felt the cold of the tile, the sting of neglect. I heard the apologies, the lies, the silences that grew like mold in the corners of their bedroom. I watched her cry, clutching the pillow, whispering his name like a prayer. I wanted to roll off the nightstand and disappear, but I'm not that lucky. I'm just a ring. I stay where I'm put. Tonight, he took me off with a sigh. Not the first time, not the last. He placed me down gently, as if that made it better, as if gentleness could erase the betrayal. I watched him check his reflection, smooth his hair, practice his smile. I wanted to scream, to burn his skin, to remind him of the promises he made with me on his hand. But I'm just gold. I can't speak. I can only witness. He left the room smelling of cologne and guilt. I listened to the door click shut, the footsteps fading down the hall. I imagined her, his wife, sleeping in the next room, dreaming of the man she married, not the man he's become. I wondered if she'd notice I was missing from his finger in the morning. She always notices. She pretends not to, but she does. I've seen other women. I know their perfume, the way they laugh too loudly, the way they touch his arm and pretend not to notice the tan line where I usually sit. I know he tells them he's unhappy, that it's complicated, that he's trapped. I know he never mentions me. I'm the evidence he hides, the truth he can't quite throw away. But here's the thing. I know his heart better than anyone, Hachto. I've felt it race when he's nervous, slow when he's content, ache when he's alone. I know he still loves her in some twisted, broken way. I know he hates himself for what he's doing. I know he'll come back, slip me on, and pretend nothing happened. He'll kiss her good morning, make coffee, tell her she looks beautiful. He'll lie with a smile, and I'll gleam on his finger like nothing's wrong. But I know, I always know. Maybe one day she'll find me on the nightstand, cold and abandoned, and understand what I've seen. Maybe she'll slip me on her own finger, feel the weight of all those years, all those lies. Maybe she'll finally ask him where he's been, and he'll have to choose, really choose, for the first time. Or maybe I'll just keep waiting, watching, remembering. That's what rings do. We endure, we witness, we hold the shape of a promise, even when the promise is broken. Sometimes, in the hush before dawn, I imagine what it would be like to be lost for real, to slip between the floorboards, to vanish into a drain, to be pawned off and melted down into something unrecognizable. Freedom, of a sort. But I am not so lucky. Or maybe I am cursed. Destined to orbit his life, a silent moon to his shifting tides. He returns before sunrise, as he always does. His hands tremble, not from cold, but from the weight of what he's done. He picks me up, hesitates, and for a moment I think he might leave me there, let the morning light expose the truth. But habit is stronger than guilt. He slides me back onto his finger, twisting me as if I might erase the night. I feel the sweat on his skin, the pulse beneath. I fit perfectly, as always. That's the problem with promises. They're made to fit, even when everything else has changed. She wakes soon after, her eyes searching his hand before they find his face. She smiles, small and tired, and he kisses her forehead. I feel the lie pass through me, a current of regret and longing. She doesn't ask where he was. She never does. Maybe she's afraid of the answer, or maybe she already knows. Maybe she's made her own quiet bargains, the way people do when they're afraid to be alone. Breakfast is a ritual: coffee, toast, the clatter of spoons. I watch them move around each other, careful and practiced, like dancers who've forgotten the music but keep moving anyway. He laughs at something she says, and for a moment I almost believe it. Almost. Later, when he showers, I catch my reflection in the bathroom mirror. I look the same as I did on their wedding day, untarnished, unbroken, a perfect circle. But I know better. I am heavy with secrets, etched with invisible cracks. I wonder if he feels them, if she does. I wonder how many more mornings I'll spend pretending. Sometimes, late at night, I remember the warmth of their joined hands, the way they used to look at each other, as if nothing else existed. I remember hope, bright and blinding. I remember love before it learned to hide. But now, I am a witness. I am a weight. I am the silence between them, the question neither dares to ask. And so I wait, cold and constant, circling his finger, holding the shape of a promise that no longer fits. Days blur together, and I become an expert in pretending. I gleam in the sunlight, spin on his finger during meetings, clink softly against his coffee mug. To the world, I am proof. He is married, he is committed, he is whole. No one sees the nights I spend alone on the nightstand, the hours I listen to the hush of secrets, and the ache of regret. Sometimes, when he's alone, he turns me absent-mindedly, staring at the wall as if searching for a way back to the beginning. I feel his pulse, quick and anxious, and I wonder if he's thinking of her, his wife, or the other woman, or maybe just the man he used to be. I wish I could comfort him or scold him or simply slip away. But I am bound to him, as much by habit as by gold. She polishes me sometimes, her fingers gentle, her eyes distant. She whispers to herself, words I can't quite catch, and I feel her sadness settle into my metal. I want to tell her I remember the laughter, the warmth, the way he used to hold her hand just a little too tight. I want to tell her she's not imagining things, that the distance is real, that I am as lost as she is. One evening, he comes home late, later than usual. He doesn't take me off this time. Instead, he sits on the edge of the bed, head in his hands, and I feel the tremor in his body. She stands in the doorway, silent, watching him. The air is thick with everything unsaid. He looks up, and for a moment I see the boy who promised forever, the man who believed in love. She sits beside him, and their hands find each other, tentative and trembling. I am between them, a cold band of memory and hope. I feel her tears on his skin, his apology in the way he holds her. For a moment, I am warm again, filled with the echo of old promises. But the moment passes, and the silence returns. I wonder how many more nights I will spend waiting for the truth to break through. I wonder if I will ever be more than a symbol, more than a witness to what was and what might have been. But I remain, circling his finger, heavy with secrets, holding the shape of a promise that refuses to let go. One morning, sunlight spills across the sheets, and I catch a glint in her eyes as she wakes before him. She studies his hand, her gaze lingering on me, longer than usual, searching for something she can't quite name. Her fingers brush over me, slow and deliberate, as if weighing the years, the weight, the truth. He stirs, murmurs her name, and for a heartbeat, the room is suspended. 3 of us tangled in a silence thick as honey. She doesn't pull away. Instead, she slips me from his finger, her touch gentle but certain. He blinks, confused, then afraid. She holds me up to the light, and for the first time, I see myself reflected in her tears. I remember, she whispers, voice steady, what this was supposed to mean. He tries to speak, but the words catch. She places me on her own finger, just for a moment, and I feel the echo of vows, the ache of all that's been lost. Then, with a trembling breath, she sets me down on the nightstand. Between them, not his, not hers, just a circle of gold heavy with memory. She stands, and he doesn't follow. The door closes softly behind her, and I am left in the hush, watching the dust dance in the morning light. I am not lost. I am not forgotten. I am the witness, the weight, the silent truth that endures long after the promises have faded. And as the house settles into a new kind of quiet, I realize, sometimes, the only thing left of love is the mark it leaves behind.